Hi everyone, it's so good to see you all again. It's Miss Julia back with another art project. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a 3D Newark City that you can customize to show some of your favorite buildings and places around Newark. Your end product is going to look a little something like this. First, I want to explain what 3D means when you are drawing. The D in 3D stands for dimensional. So 3D means three-dimensional. What this means is that the object we are drawing has length, width, and height. So that makes it 3D, as opposed to a 2D object, which only has length and height. Can you tell the difference between this one and this one? Next, I want you to really think about what your community means to you before starting this project and while drawing it. The word community means a group of people that share a similar place. Some examples of a community can be the Boys and Girls Club, your school, or a team you play on. A community can also have similar interests or likes. In this instance, we are talking about the community you live in, which is Newark, New Jersey. What's so special about it? What things do you like the most? What makes you feel at home? When you're walking down the street or driving in your car and you're looking out the window, what things really stick out to you? What is so memorable about it? You can think about these answers and include them in your drawing to make it special to you. What you're going to need for our project of drawing a 3D Newark City is a blank piece of paper, a Sharpie, a regular pencil with an eraser, and colored pencils or crayons. Both work just fine. So I go through this project at a relatively fast pace. I encourage you all to pause the video at times when you need so that you could do it at your own pace. Times when you need to color, times when you need to outline the cities in marker. That should be times when you pause and do take your time to make it as awesome as you can. All right, let's get started. So the way we're going to start our Newark 3D city is by drawing a straight line down at the bottom of your paper like this. This is going to act as our sidewalk line. From there, we are going to start drawing various building sizes in two-dimensional, like I showed you previously. And the way we're going to do that is by drawing different size rectangles and squares, like this. So we'll start out with our first rectangle. And then maybe our next one. And another. And finally, our last one. You can make these squares and rectangles as wide or thin, tall or short as you would like. From here, we are going to make our buildings three-dimensional. Right now it all looks really flat, like two-dimensional. Now we're going to make it three-dimensional. So to do this, you draw diagonal lines off of the corners like this. Okay, after you have these diagonal lines off of all the corners, you're going to connect them with straight lines, like this. Okay, it's going to be much easier to tell that they're three-dimensional when you have them all colored in. Next, what I want you to do is think about your community like we were thinking about before. Think about some buildings you may walk by. Think about some stores or schools that you walk by that you remember what they look like, what the windows look like, what the doors may look like, and I want you to try and draw them in on these buildings. So I'm going to add some windows to this building. Now I'm going to draw a big door. Next, I'm going to do a circle window on this building. Again, you can customize these buildings however you'd like. I'm just showing you different ways that you could draw windows and buildings. Add another door here. I'm going to make this short one the Boys and Girls Club. So I'm going to do write boys. And I know that the Boys and Girls Club has a big door in the front with windows. Finally, I'm going to make the last building have big long windows. I'm going to add a door, and I'm going to add what's called an awning, which is a covering over the door, because I know that some buildings have awnings over the entrances, like stores and grocery stores. After I've completed decorating the buildings, I kind of want to add some background, like grass, and you could decorate however you want with this as well. I'm gonna add a sun. And some clouds. gonna draw a big tree. And I'm gonna draw a bench. And I'm gonna add a sidewalk right here. Nope, I didn't put the grass in on the other side. And what I want to add is some cracks in the sidewalk. And I also now want to add a street. And a street has yellow dashes going through it, like this. You could add some flowers around your outside area. Add a pot of flowers here. I really want you to think about ways you can start customizing your community drawings. So, do you see bike riders on the street? Do you see people walking on the street, such as your friends or family that you want to draw? Do you see any dogs or cats walking on the street? What kind of other things do you see? Do you see grocery stores? Do you see fruit stands? Do you see any stands? Do you see any trains? Think about it and incorporate it in your drawings. Continue to customize them. Our next step is going to be outlining our drawings in Sharpies to make it look really sharp and so that you could see the color really vibrantly after we're done with this. So I'll start with my trees. If you don't have a Sharpie marker, a black marker works just fine. Move on to some of my flowers. Now I'm going to do my park bench. I'm going to start with the building. Remember to outline your 3D. Anywhere you see pencil, I want you to outline in Sharpie to make it look nice and crisp and stand out. So I just finished coloring my city, except for one part that I'm going to show you guys how to do right now. After I show you guys how to do this part, I want you to pause the video and take as much time as you need to finish coloring your city. But before that, I'm gonna show you how to make your buildings look really three-dimensional. So the way that we're gonna make our buildings look really three-dimensional is by giving it depth. And in order to do that, we need to do some shading. What I mean by that is the sun is coming from up here and it's hitting the front of the buildings. So the front of the buildings are going to be light. And here, the sides of the buildings aren't going to get as much sunlight. So they're going to be a little darker. So in order to create depth, you're going to push your crayon or colored pencil harder into the paper to make it darker than the front of the building. See the difference in color between here and here? Now let's do this yellow gold building. I'm going to press really hard into the paper to make it dark. And again on the side. Now with my blue, really hard. I chose to make my buildings fun colors. You could do the same, or you could make them normal building colors. It's up to you, and you can use your creativity. And then lastly, with the red. And now down on the sides. All right, so I'm really happy with the way my 3D city turned out, and I did a lot of thinking about my community while I was making it, which was really nice to think about. And one last thing, always remember to sign your artwork. You should be proud of the artwork you did, how creative you are. So take ownership of it and sign it at the bottom. And I'm really excited to see how yours all turn out, and I hope you enjoyed making this.